Hey, welcome back to FUNNELIZE. It's JK with you here, and we're going to finish out the retargeting module by putting together a very simple but very effective Google Ads blueprint. Now, just like the previous video, where I showed you how to put together a blueprint inside of Facebook ads, I'm going to be doing the same thing here in Google. Now, there's a bunch of ways that we can go through and set up ads retargeting with the power of Google Ads, but we're not going to do anything fancy here. Just like with the Facebook tutorial before this, we're just going to cover the basics. And the basic way to show you how to do this, while still being very, very effective, is to use the Google Display Network. Now, because Google owns so many properties and they have so many dynamic partners, you're able to run retargeting on a bunch of different websites with Google Ads. You can do stuff on YouTube, you can do stuff on the search network, you can do stuff through the DoubleClick ad exchange. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do retargeting with Google. Using the Google Display Network is probably the most simple way to do this, and it's also incredibly effective because it really does make you seem like a much larger brand than you might be. And that's particularly good if you're selling any type of coaching or consulting services, and it's also very, very easy to put together. Now, in order to make this work, we are going to be doing a leads-based conversion objective, and that requires making one extra step with AdWords and integrating that with the Google Tag Manager. If you followed along with putting together the Tag Manager and putting together your Google Custom Audiences in the previous videos inside this module, this is just going to be a walk in the park. It's very, very simple to do. That being said, let's actually go in and start off by putting together that conversion and leads-based objective by setting up some very simple conversion tags with AdWords and with the Google Tag Manager. Let me show you exactly how to do that right now. Okay, so here we are back inside of Google Ads, and we're back inside the test environment. It's just the easiest way to show you what this looks like from a brand new account's perspective. So the first thing we're going to be doing is setting up our conversion event inside Google Ads, and then we're going to be using Google's Tag Manager to actually integrate that with our website. Before we get into this though, we have to actually create the conversion event. So we're going to make sure we're logged in. We're going to go up here to Tools, and under Measurement, we're going to choose Conversions here. We're going to go and click on the big blue plus sign for conversions, and we're going to choose website because our conversions happen on a website. Now, you want to make sure you give your conversion a very specific name that's easy for you to identify. In this case, I'm going to be assuming that this is the conversion between people who go to the opt-in page and actually opt in and end up on the boost page. I'll come back to that in just a second here. I'm just going to call this Funnel Gateway Conversion Lead. You can call it really whatever you want though. Now the category here is going to be lead. Now I'm just going to pause right here and explain one thing. This is the process for how you create a website conversion for any type of conversion within inside of AdWords. So if, for example, you wanted to tag anyone who lands on, let's say, your affiliate download page, if they wanted to get some bonuses from you, or the download page of your own product, you would go in here and choose purchase and sale, and you would make sure that your conversion name represents, you know, product one conversion or something like that, product one sale, upsell, downsell, whatever it might be. You want to make sure that you go ahead and create your conversions around the specific conversions that you want. Because if you want to retarget an audience between, let's say, people who landed on your sales page, but people who did not buy the product, you're obviously not going to be creating a conversion around a lead. You'd be creating that conversion around a purchase because you want to identify people who have gone and purchased your main product. So just keep that in mind. You're going to create a conversion based on the different stages of retargeting that you're actually going to be doing. In this case, I'm just targeting people who landed on my funnel gateway. They landed on the opt-in page, but they did not land on the boost page. So let's continue. Under value here, we're going to choose don't use a value. This is really only specific if you are choosing a purchaser lead. You're able to go in here and actually put in a specific dollar amount for how much each customer is worth to you. It's really helpful if you are selling your own products or affiliate products. Under here, under count, you're going to choose 1. Again, this is just for the leads option. If you're choosing purchases, you're going to choose every. More than likely, you're going to choose every because you want to count every person who buys a product from you. We're just going to choose 1 here for the lead conversion in this case. The conversion window, we can leave all this stuff exactly as default, and we're going to hit create and continue. And then from here, we can install the tag yourself, email the tag to your developer, or what we're going to do is use the Google Tag Manager. So we can click on this right here, and we have these 2 little conversion IDs and labels here. What we're going to do is grab the conversion ID. I'm just going to copy this to my clipboard, and we're going to come back and grab the other one in a second here. Back here to Google Tag Manager, and we're going to create a new tag. So let's go here to new tag. We're going to put in our tag configuration, and we're going to go to Google Ads Conversion Tracking. We're going to go and select that, and we're going to paste our conversion ID where it says conversion ID. If I go back here to Google Ads, we have a conversion label. I'm going to copy this, and we're going to paste that under conversion label as well. Now the conversion value, this will obviously be if you're selling a product, you want to know exactly how much money you're making from each conversion, but that doesn't count because we are tracking leads in this case. Now the other thing we're going to do here is just change the tag. We're going to change the name of the tag from untitled. We're going to call it funnel gateway conversions tag. Again, you can call it whatever you want. And now we need to set up a trigger. So choose a trigger so when this tag is actually going to fire. So what we're going to do here is we can choose all pages here. That's not going to be the right thing to do in this case. So what you're going to need to do is choose this little plus sign here, choose a trigger type. We're going to go to page view, and then specifically some page views, we're going to go to when the page URL contains, and then you're going to put in whatever the link is to your boost page. So let me just pause the video and pull up a dummy boost page for you. Okay, so here's one of my dummy boost pages. What I'm going to do is just, I know it's off screen here, but I'm just grabbing the URL of the page. I'm going to go back here to Tag Manager, and I'm just going to drop in the URL just like that. So anytime someone lands on the page that contains this URL right here, okay, it's actually going to fire off the conversion tag. So we're just going to go ahead and put this trigger as boost page trigger. Okay, so anybody who lands on my boost page is going to trigger that conversion event. It's going to send a message back to Google that says, hey, the person who just landed on this page, their Google account is now registered as a lead. So we're going to go ahead here and hit save, and there we go. We now have our conversion tag added in successfully. So let's go back here to Google Ads. We are now done with this. Now it says here, make sure you add a conversion linker tag. That's really not necessary for most people who are going to be watching this. If you do know what this is, then you already know that you might need to use it. The only reason you would need to use the linker tag is if you are sending people across multiple domain names between a opt-in and a conversion. So if they land on a squeeze page on one domain, but they land on a different domain name for the boost page, then you would go ahead and use the linker tag. If you just click on this, it'll give you instructions on how to set it up. It's incredibly simple. I'm just not going to show you in this particular tutorial. Now click on the next button, and there you go. You've set up your funnel gateway conversion lead, or whatever you decided to call it. That has now been set up, and you will see it listed here in your list of conversion actions. Perfect. So now that we've gone ahead and set that up, we need to go and set up a campaign, because we actually want to go and make sure that we are retargeting, and we are making sure that the focus is on getting people to actually convert on our opt-in page. So let's go here to Google Ads. We're going to go here to campaigns, and we're going to click on the blue button here to create a brand new campaign. New campaign. And then what type of campaign do we want to run? As you can see, there's a bunch of different ones we can run. We are going to run a display campaign, and we're going to optimize this around leads. Now, keep in mind, if you are optimizing this for leads, it is going to optimize people to continually get them over to the page where the lead tag is going to fire. So it's going to automatically do that conversion optimization for you. Google Ads is very smart at knowing how to do that. So make sure you choose leads, unless, of course, you're trying to get sales. If you're trying to get people to buy an affiliate product from you, you would put that conversion tag for the purchase or sale. You put that onto your bonus page, and then you would continue to run traffic using the sales conversion tag here. I'm just going to focus this on leads for now. We're going to run a standard display campaign. You don't need to put in the URL here. All this is going to do is basically grab some images off your website. I'm not going to do that in this case, so I'm just going to hit continue here. And now we want to give our campaign a name. I'm just going to leave it as the default name for now. The locations, I'm just going to choose all countries and territories, because I only want this ad to show up to my retargeting audience, which we're going to choose in just a few minutes here. So anyone who has landed on my opt-in page but not my boost page, regardless of where they are in the world, they are going to see this ad. We're going to go down here. I only want it to run to people who are native English speakers. And the bidding, we can optionally choose to go for conversions. Sorry, mouse is being a bit funny here. We can go for conversions, conversion value, clicks, or valuable impressions. We're going to go for conversions here. And you might be tempted to go and click on maximize conversions and only pay for conversions. There's a couple of YouTube videos out there saying that this is a great idea. And in theory, it is. The idea being here that you won't pay for clicks, you won't pay for impressions, you'll only pay when someone actually opts in. Now, you might have heard that and thought, wow, that's amazing. I can't wait to do that. The problem with doing that is it becomes massively, massively expensive to actually get people on your list, because Google is only going to optimize your campaign to actually get you conversions. And if it can't get you that many conversions, the few conversions it might be able to get you, it's going to charge you an arm and a leg to do it. And it's just not going to be profitable for you. So even though it sounds really tempting, you don't want to do that. Make sure you choose manually set your bids. And the default is going to be a cost per click model, which is paying for clicks. Don't get suckered in and choose paying for conversions because it's usually massively, massively expensive to do. It also won't be an option for you to do when you first start off because you don't have any data on which to base this on. So you have to choose manually set bids and clicks anyway. Let's scroll down here. Your budget, the amount you want to spend per day, this is entirely up to you. If you want to spend 10 per day, 5 per day. Again, if you're only going to spend, I said this in the Facebook tutorial as well, if you're only going to spend $5 per day or $10 per day, don't run the campaign just for one day and say, well, I didn't get any results and that's not going to work for me. You have to run this for at least 5 to 7 days at whatever your budget is going to be. They don't have to be 5 to 7 days back to back. You can run it for a day, turn it off, run it for 2 days, turn it off. Whatever's going to work for you, you're going to have to manage that yourself. But just as a default, I'm going to put $10 in here. It's running on $10 Canadian per day, which is about $7.50 American. So let's go in here and choose, down here to ad group name. So your ad group is basically going to be where you set up all the audience and things like that. You can just leave this as the default name for now. Your audience, this is very important. This is actually who is going to see your ad. As you can see right now, we're expected to be seen by about 10 billion people, expecting to get 300 to 1,400 clicks per day. Oh, sorry, per week actually. That is just garbage. The traffic's not going to be targeted at all, so don't be suckered into thinking that this is a great idea. This is also very much, take this with a big, big pinch of salt. That's not how it's going to work. You're going to choose how they have interacted with your business here. And then from website visitors, you should have this remarketing audience already selected because you already built that, because you've already been going through the retargeting module and I showed you how to put this together. So make sure you choose this here and hit done. And you'll see now that your numbers have dropped down very, very low. In this case, because this is a brand new account, I haven't run any traffic. This is, there's not even one person in this audience except maybe for me. Yours is probably also going to be very, very low unless you organically drive a lot of traffic to your opt-in page anyway. Now demographics here, we don't really care about this because we already have our target audience selected. You want to leave this as the default. Your ad group bid. So I'm just going to go with $1 right here. We're going to go down here to dynamic ads, and this is where we're going to create our ads. So now in the old days with Display Network, you used to have to go and upload your own ads here. And as you can see, let me go back here. There we go. These are all the different types of banner ads you had to put together, and they were very difficult to do. And while they looked really good, you had to get a designer to do it unless you really knew what you were doing. And sometimes it could be very expensive. Luckily, you don't have to do that anymore. What you can do is go here to create ad. You're going to choose responsive display ad. Now these are incredibly, incredibly simple to put together. They're very, very intuitive and they work really, really well. So what we're going to do here for your final URL, this is going to be the link to your opt-in page. I'm just going to go ahead here and put in, actually, let me just grab this here and drop that in there. And we'll just change this to opt-in page, just like that. Okay. Now, I don't know why I still have this error here. Oh, use HTTPS. Okay, that's fine. I don't actually have HTTPS on this because it's just a dummy website. So we'll just say that it is for now. And now what we want to do is actually put in some images and or logos. Now I'm not going to use a logo in this case. You probably won't need to use a logo either unless you're trying to build a brand for yourself. So I'm just going to go ahead here into images and logos. And as you can see, it's pulling images right off our website, in this case my dummy website, and that's not really something that we need to use. So I'm going to go here to stock images. And much like we did with the Facebook ad when we went onto Pexels, we're going to go here and just grab a stock image. Now, the worst thing you can do is go in here and type in marketing, even if you're in the marketing niche, because these images are all crap. What you want to do here is grab someone who looks happy. So I'm going to go grab happy man, and I'm going to go find an image of a man that looks happy. And as you can see, there's a bunch of a bunch of images that you can use here. And even though they say Shutterstock here, they're not going to say this when your ad is actually running, okay? It's just that you're able to use the Shutterstock database for your images. I'm gonna grab this guy here. I'm gonna click use as image, and you have to have at least one landscape and one square image. So as you can see, it's automatically gonna crop it for you. If we click on continue and then click on save, you can see this is how your ad's gonna look on a mobile device. And if you click on desktop here, it'll give an example of how it's going to look as Google automatically resizes your ad to fit in the different outlines for different ads that they have. So your ad could show up on an app, it could show up on a web page, it could show up on a bunch of different places. But this is basically how it's going to take that information and automatically resize it for you. Now you can come in here and you can actually add in much more images if you want to. I'm just going to go with one for now. And you can also add in a video if you have one. That's great. Go ahead and put that in as well. And here's where you're able to put in multiple headlines. Now you're able to put in up to 5 headlines and up to 5 descriptions. I'm going to recommend not doing that for the moment because you have to make sure that each description is a good fit for each headline because they're going to get mix and match here and there. So just for keeping things as simple as possible, I'm going to put in 1 headline. I'm going to put in 1 description. I'm not going to put in a long headline. I'm just going to do 1 simple headline, 1 simple description, and my business name, and that is it. Now, keeping in mind that this is a retargeting audience for people who went to the opt-in page, but not the boost page, I'm going to make this creative much more specific to the idea of getting them back onto the opt-in page. In the Facebook tutorial, I went through a fairly generic example. This one we're going to make much more focused on actually retargeting. So because we don't have much to work with, as you can see, we only have 30 characters here. We need to keep this as simple as possible. So I'm going to go with, did you forget? And then my description here is going to say, as you can see, we have 90 characters here. Ultimate swipe file, 59 converting headlines to steal. And if we go and take a look on mobile, you'll see this is how the ad will actually look. It's going to populate on a web page just like this. On desktop, this is how it's going to look. Did you forget ultimate swipe file? As you can see, you know, it's for very little work, we actually have a pretty decent idea of something that we can use. And again, we can add in more images of more different people if we want to. That's going to be entirely up to you. Again, I'm just keeping this as simple as possible. At this point down here, you need to put in your business name. This is probably just going to be your domain name. In this case, I would just put jkdowdle.com. And, oh, I didn't mean to click on that. That's advanced stuff. And then we can click on add to ad group. Oh, I need to put in my long headline. I forgot about that. So let's just, again, I'm just going to grab this here. Change this around a little bit. 59. Actually, let's go. Did you forget to download the swipe file? And actually, let's go to more options and put in a call to action. Let's put in a download button. And I keep clicking that by mistake. Add to ad group. And our ad is done. At that point then, we would just go ahead and click on create campaign, and this will now go off into review, and Google will let you know whether or not it is acceptable. There's really no reason why it wouldn't be. Google is much more liberal with what they allow on the display network than on the search network, for example. And that's it. You've put together a very, very simple, but again, very effective type of retargeting by using the Google Ads display network. Thanks for sticking with the retargeting module. In the next module, we're going to jump in and take a look at email marketing, one of my absolute favorite topics. I'm going to be giving you some very cool information that a lot of you probably don't even know about how to put together really effective emails and make sure that everything to do with your open rate and your engagement is very, very good. I will see you inside that module. This is FUNNELIZE. My name is JK Dowdle, and thanks for watching.